Hey everybody, welcome back to Middle-earth and our 4th Age Total War North Rhun campaign. We are besieging Tham. This is the default capital for the Chiefdom of Rhun, who is right now our greatest enemy. And as predicted at the end of the last episode, I thought that we were going to be attacked before we could assault, and that is indeed the case. Now we've got about even numbers here, at least with regards to the garrison versus our troops, but they've brought in almost 300 men, and this is, you know, all stuff we've seen before. And in terms of how they're going to approach, they'll be sort of behind us to the left, and then the main army, the garrison, is going to appear directly in front of us. Now, this is a pretty strong army, actually. There's no Tier 1 units in this. This is not the typical mob of fur-clad barbarians. They got some fur-clad barbarians, I guess. We've got the Eastland Raiders, but a lot of this is, you know, axes and spears, quite a few. So this will be an interesting engagement. I think what we'll want to do is turn to deal with the smaller army first, get rid of that as quickly as we can, and then reassemble and face the big army, which is going to be led by a family member, and that means that their morale is going to be higher than would otherwise be the case. It seems that no matter how bad your general is, if he's got, you know, bad morale traits, it's still better to have him than to have some random captain. And AI armies seem to operate the same way. If they've got some family member, even if he's like a terrible general, that's better than having no family member at all and just a captain. So they're going to come from back here, the reinforcing army. So we could pretty easily deal with them, and then turn around. I think that's going to be the move. So let's just do this. I'm thinking something like this would be about right. And, you know, I'm kind of thinking, actually, we may want to go on, yeah, ceasefire or hold our attack and try to take these guys out with regular missile troops. Because I think we want to save our throwing axes for a bit later. So let's do this. Let's get the skirmishers up here, because all they are is infantry. So they're pretty easy to avoid. And we've got our 3 units of riders. We'll use them to flank. We have our general here, and that is everybody except the random unit of Barding militia levies. Okay. Where are they? Did I... Oh, they're... I was way off. I don't know why. That's very strange. Oh, that's right, because they're the attacking army. These guys are the reinforcing army. Whoops, I really misjudged that. Okay. So we'll turn around, and I think we'll do the same thing. They're attacking me, so they'll need to come over here. The terrain here is just about as flat as it could possibly be. It looks like they're taking their time. Alright, our slingers are definitely going to get in position and start slinging. That's going to encourage this army to probably rush forward. Alright, let's have everybody else hurry. Take out some of the easy warband with the slings. The slings themselves are not a super powerful unit in terms of their missile attack. My understanding is, from what I remember, they were nerfed quite a bit in the development phase, because at first they were just too good. They were very cheap. And kind of like the Outrider units for Khan's roster, that Tier 1 horse archer, they were just cheap and incredibly effective. And so it was found that we needed to tone them down a little bit. Alright, so there's spears and there's axemen in the back. Let's go right for the axe unit quickly. And we're just going to stand and take it from these spearmen. We're going to try to kill the general. And then the spearmen will hopefully turn and rout. All right, let's throw into the spears. Actually, let's war cry. All right, get out! Damn it! I can't do too many things at the same time. All right, that's horrible. That's horrible. All right. Warband is going over to try to get me there. Alright, we gotta wrap this up here. There goes the general. Okay. Alright, should be fine. Should be fine now. There they go. Great. So what I'm going to do is ungroup the cav, and they can just keep chasing those routers. And we'll move the rest of the troops to engage. Oh shoot, we've got these guys still. Okay, but that's actually fine.
Runs. Now hunt them down.
Okay, looks like they've got their general in the exact center of their forces. This is a little intimidating to me when the AI spreads out. They often do well when they're in that type of situation. Alright, and I'm going to move everybody, actually. I don't want to keep wasting arrows on these guys. Alright, so they've got enough cav that they could do something sneaky, get those Eastland Raiders over into my flanks, I guess. Okay, and I'm going to deselect everybody because I want to get my men together. You can be there. You can be there. Okay, everything else is probably fine. What do I do with this cav? Alright, let's bring the cav over to face their cav. Let's get the spearmen up front and center. Worried about the longbows, so we'll bring them back a little and get the axemen up here. Yeah, you can see what they're doing. There comes the cav. That's alright, I got my spearmen right here. Let's go. I think we're going to take them out. Alright, all of our axe throwers are on fire at will. My general on skirmish. And yeah, let's war cry these axes. Alright, this is a weak side. They do have spearmen, though. But let's try to break them if we can. Okay, that's terrible. Alright, we're in melee already. Let's fire, or do a war cry, rather. Okay, there's spears. Alright, yeah, this is terrible. Alright, hit the axemen. We are throwing. I actually change that. Take out the chieftain. Alright, let's come over here. My general is out very far from the line, so this is kind of a problem. War cry you, war cry you. Actually, you can charge in now. Let's try to rally. Alright, if we kill the general, which I think we've got decent odds of doing, then we can wrap this up, I think. We've got to do it fast. Alright, there he goes. And let's see, can we quickly get a route? Come on. Spearmen take out those spears. Let's get our general out of here, out of here, out of here. Jeez. Alright, they're spreading out to take out my other units. Alright, and I didn't get the general out of there. Okay. Despite all those orders, huh? Let's go here. And we've got to come over here, I think, to help out. Alright, still got slings, still got arrows. Spearmen are broken. Good. Okay, and let's bring you down over here then. Alright, good, good, good. The route is spreading. I guess the cav should stay on them. line up for a charge. Axemen and axemen. Okay, I think we'll be fine now. We do have to handle this a little carefully. Let's go for the axemen there. I'm going to call a rally to keep my general back out of the fight. That should just about do it. There we go. So there's 2 units left. Let's see, there may be some rallying, but actually, not really thinking that they will because the units that are left are very weak. Okay, so we've got longbows. They could fight theoretically. I'd rather keep them, of course. Let's send some units right after the axemen, and we've got almost no cavalry. Alright, well, I guess we can only hope that some of those are going to come back. We could probably take on these axemen of Rhun. They are shaken. Let's go for it. Let's see how this battle is going to go. I'm not feeling super confident about it, but send our general over to take care of those axemen. Losing slightly. Yeah. Okay, we're kiting them. We are still shooting them with the arrows, with the longbows over there at least. These guys have no more javelins. At least they get some armor upgrades, weapon upgrades. They have killed a couple of them. It's just our infantry guys are very slow. They're not going to get here for a while. Okay, that's it. Great.
Hunt them down and slay them all.
Awesome. Alright, and our archers are actually just killing more of our own men. Fine. Hopefully we'll get some of those back. And let's see, that's the last of them going back to the city, but we should get it. We should get it. Let's take a look at the recovery rate. The battle statistics here. Casualties healed. Yeah, not too many, although we did get back quite a few mercenary slingers. So that's nice. But yeah, that does show you how strong a proper Rhun army can be when they're not training too much of their low-tier stuff. Alright, so there's Tham. And yeah, I think here we do want to lay Desolate, just to ensure the public order is going to be as good as it can possibly be. We're not at the point where we really need a lot of population anywhere. And in fact, public order is a bigger concern. But alright, so the map is centering over here because I had sent a spy to check out Tharbad, basically. And it looks like they've done very well for themselves. They've got Fornost. Let's see what kind of units they're training. It's probably going to be their typical stuff. Yeah, so Tharbad gets this very cool little Axeman unit, which is totally, you know, no frills. There's nothing. They have no abilities. But I like the look of them. This unit card is really cool. And they're sort of a wild, aggressive unit. There's 80 men per unit, if I remember correctly. And their stats are pretty good. I mean, you know, they'll take some losses, but they're a pretty good unit. They will take a lot of missile damage is the problem, like a lot of Tharbad's units. So Dunland is a very dangerous enemy for them, but they're going to do great against the Reunited Kingdom. They get similar-ish units, cheaper units. Whoops, didn't mean to spy on them. And, you know, larger unit sizes. So all of that typically means that they're going to beat the Reunited Kingdom, even though the Reunited Kingdom's units are going to be generally superior, as you can see, in terms of stats. Just look at all this armor. But I think Tharbad is going to win. The Reunited Kingdom just doesn't have the population base up here to be a real threat. So let's see. Raycoast control post is completed. That means we can actually train some stuff in Raycoast, but it looks like they're sending some men our way. We'll definitely train another emissary here just to protect against bribery. And yes, fear of your warriors spreads like fire. So we've got Tham. This, I'm hoping, is going to be a turning point. But notice that we've got something we can do here already, and that is retrain. So we can retrain all of our mercenary slingers, which I had forgotten. We can immediately train a scout or a spy unit, and we can even train assassins here, which is a cool little model and unit card for the Easterling or the Barbarian Assassins. Let's see, how do we describe these? Yeah, Easterling thugs. Basically rogues. We didn't want to call them just assassins because, of course, in the game, while they can kill other characters, in this mod anyway, it's more useful to send them as saboteurs to destroy infrastructure. So maybe we'll get into that at some point, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. We've got a lot of other stuff to bother with. So we'll get rid of the hosting halls. This is going to bring us some cash. We will absolutely keep these Trials of Blood. I think this is the max level of that building. Let's just see. Yep, they built it all the way to the max. They may have started with this, actually. So there's just a lot of great stuff here. We're going to keep the execution square. They've got horse breeders. Again, I would prefer to see livestock used here instead because we could make use of the armor building. So maybe we will change that. We can destroy that and start over. But first, we've got to destroy the Homeland Dominion. Get the provincial pacification up, and all these things are still in the queue, so that's great. And this guy is going to be the governor of Tham, which I think is pretty awesome. So he's got a Blade of Renown, and I forgot to give him the Champion Pit Fighter. I think I want to do that. Also notice how this army is just bypassing Raycoast. They had an army that was right outside here, Lieutenant Banwarth. They could have threatened it. And maybe they will again. You know, this episode may see some more fights around Raycoast. But I'm thinking they just lost Tham. That's probably the one they're going to be more interested in getting back. So let's get our spy over here. See what this is. Yep, a mixed Easterling army. Very typical. And let's get some of these other settlements uncovered. Okay, Amrundor. Right here, nothing. Just 2 units. So this would be another easy one to take. Probably, though, we're going to stay in Tham for a while. I don't want to go any farther south. We could do smash and grab, like raids, to establish like a buffer zone of rebels in Amrundor and whatever this one is, Adel. These could be fairly wealthy settlements, though. So, you know, maybe eventually we'd take it. But in terms of numbers, we've got 8 provinces currently. So we're not even a third of the way there yet. So it'll be some time. But we can also do some training here. Yes, Easterling Warband levies. And we've got 5,000 population. So I see no reason not to. Let's go immediately for the mustering fields. They've got a military policy here, which honestly, I kind of want to change to financial maybe at some point. But we can get mustering fields anyway, even with financial policy. And this is going to give us our own stuff. Not too fantastic, but tier 3. I mean, the thing is, Raycoast, Tham. Once we get this built up, this is going to be exactly the same stuff as Raycoast, and because it is a chief city, we can build all the military stuff and all of the financial stuff. Right, so we're not restricted at all what we're building in Tham, but we are in Raycoast, and because this is a sea province, to me this makes more sense as a financially focused settlement. But we'll just build what we can build currently. And speaking of building what we can build, I think we also want to get going on. Yeah, let's just queue up a couple of you, and let's get going on another army. I mean, I know we're not making a lot of money currently, but I think we need to keep up the pressure. Hopefully we're going to get some heirs coming of age. Let's get like another 2 of you. Let's go for 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. Yep, let's get that. And then that's it for population for a while. Okay, that's fair. Oh, we got chief men in Yodor as well. Okay, that's great. So let's go with some Mountain Warband. Let's get some wintry guys. I think that we're probably going to have to defend Barra's Doom again pretty soon, but we can get an army built, get it over here, maybe fight this force, and maybe grab Thordram next. Right, and we'll sort of build out from Raycoast so that we can slowly ensure that we've got a safe core. Okay, so yeah, they're accepting overlordship, but they're also asking for just a little bit of money. It's very interesting, but we're definitely going to refuse that. All right, we're not under siege. See, we may have turned the tide a little bit. We'll see. They seem content to just devastate the province and stand on roads so trade can't pass, because we actually are trading. Or we would be if it wasn't for this army, but we are theoretically trading with Adunabar because we share a border here. So our wagons, which you could just barely see, would go along this track, skirt the other borders of Rhun, and then get into Mordor north. So we might want to get trade with Adunabar. All right, I did go with military policy in a couple of places up north. All right, and our economy is looking kind of decent. 3,000. That army hasn't moved. Very good. So that means we could go here, go for hosting halls, and why not? Get some more of those tough Easterling axe hurlers. Because we're draining the population here, which, you know, is fine. And Hjorth is still looking good. There's no threats. All right. You know what I will do, though, in Esgaroth, let's see. We've got some spies. Let's take you, and I want to check out Bjorning territory. I want to get a bit better of a view. Yeah, Halgrim. This may have been the force that was nosing around Dale in the last episode. Just want to see what they're doing. You know, if they're moving to the borders or whatever. So I think that's it. You know, the other thing we could do is we could get... Yeah, we could get the generals down here. Why don't I do that? We'll do some exchange. There we go. Get you back, and you'll have to just hide in the trees. Next turn, we'll go back to Raycoast with you. But this gives the champion pit fighter to Ulgan, who is much younger. Is he still youthful? No, he's mature currently, but he's going to be around longer, so that's going to be a nice bonus for him. Let's experiment with rogues. Let's do it. I think we've got the money. You know, especially if we're in this kind of long period of attrition, yeah, we're going to be under siege periodically. It's helpful to have some way to interrupt the enemy, at least. All right, so, yep, Ulgan has got the Lordship of Tham, and Ulwar of Tham, oh, nice. So he's a rogue. He starts off with a talented accomplice, so that's giving him 3 subterfuge right out of the gate. All right, we lost a bunch of money there for queuing up buildings, and unfortunately, because we're under siege, we can't queue up that building, but hopefully we'll address that here shortly. Okay, anything else we want to do? I think the only thing is to get this guy back into Raycoast, where he's not making that much of a difference, honestly, but he is the Lord at least. And we should probably also make him the local governor. So that'll improve his disposition towards us. All right, some more wains. So they've actually been training those chariots, which is interesting. Because the Rhun faction only starts with a single unit of the war wains. All right, is this your capital? No, it's not, just a settlement. Okay, I want to get down here and see how Adunabar looks. I'm seeing some devastation around here, but not really along the south. And I know there are a few settlements down here, so it could be that they're holding out pretty well. We'll at least get a little bit of a view. Okay, we're still training up around here. We're still training units here, so I guess it's time for us to sally out. Let's do that. We're going to get a reinforcing unit of Riders of Rhun, and this is a full stack, actually. I think we can do it. This army is a lot weaker, but we have to do it. And Balance of Power does not like that. Alright, so same type of situation. We're deploying our men over to the right here. The reinforcing Riders of Rhun are going to come from, I think, off in this direction, but I don't see them just yet. Maybe they're off in the trees there. But you'll notice that we're already able to see the improved timber walls of Tham. So that is one advantage of having this place. Yeah, let's get our longbowmen right behind. I don't want to take any chances with them. Skirmishers can be here. Let's get the spears. And we don't have too many of these axemen. I mean, they did good work for us, but now they're kind of running into the problem that we're facing down here, which is just attrition over time. Oh, that's right. We're not going to get the reinforcing Riders of Rhun because we're fighting on the city tile, not on theirs. Okay, so they've moved so that we can do some damage to their skirmishers, but they've got 2 units of archers. And then they're going to push forward some of their infantry. This is a mix, axemen and warband, so it's a light mix. You know, why don't we go ahead and get the fire at will going. All right, this is, you know, looking at it, this is a sizable army. It does have some spearmen, but we can take it out, right? Piecemeal, because we know how these battles go. Okay, we get the Barding militia levies involved. I didn't necessarily want that, but here we are. Okay, I'll pull everybody back now. Let's put the archers in the back, actually. I think this will do for a group, so we can just reconstitute this whenever we want. Let's go over here slightly closer to the wall, maybe. All right, axemen and axemen. There's some spears. That's their toughest unit. But all of our axemen are out of javelins. Or out of throwing axes, rather. So they're just swordsmen at the moment. But that's fine. And this is just an Eastland Raiders captain. I guess we're getting a bit low on missiles generally. But we should have enough to still keep drawing them out like this. Alright, let's war cry, because we're going to be engaged pretty soon. Alright, here they come. They're going to catch my slingers. But I don't need to be quite so cautious about the slingers anymore. Because this is a chief city, we can just retrain them here whenever we want. I do want to be cautious of my melee troops, because it's going to be a little while before we can retrain them. Take them. pull back. Only a couple more tough units to go, and then we should have it wrapped up. Alright, I'm just gonna go for it at this point. We can take him. Alright, I'm pretty sure that was their guy, yes. And archers, yeah, let's go for this unit of archers. Just about everybody else is engaged. A quick war cry, give it a couple seconds, and then we'll just go for everybody. Okay, so we're going to be down to largely a missile force. Got to keep remembering to look for mercenary slingers and variags where we can. It's going to take them a while to reappear in the mercenary pool, though. But I think we're good. You know, if we were to hold out and try to defend Tham, we could do that as well. It's just that that takes so much of your income and time that you could be spending building. So I think it's good to do this. It's good to do these kind of sally battles. They are a bit annoying, right? This is the thing you have to do repeatedly. But that's why we are... Yeah, we can just end it here. That's why we're ultimately looking to, you know, expand enough so that we can have a safe core. And to some extent, we've almost done that with Raycoast. I think we take one other settlement, the one north of it, Thordram, and that should be fairly safe. Although we still will border here and here, which is, what is this, Yar Helkar and Fennis Rim. Oh, this has a lot of men in it too. So we'll just have to keep that in mind. But we can train people in Raycoast, and we can get an army that's mobile. Once we get that, we can have, you know, one or two of those armies that can just do field battles or take the fight, you know, grab this settlement for sure, grab this settlement for sure as well. And we're just going to be radiating outward with Tham as our southern bulwark. So here we've got to go for the Fiefdom Dominion, and we'll retrain all of those nice nice slingers. And let's get another rogue, and let's get our rogue out of here. Let's see. There he is. And what would this be? 63%. I don't like those odds, but what we can do is bring him someplace someplace where we can do some damage, and I guess that would be Fennis Rim. Let's see. We can see what the units are here. It's a full stack. All right, it's got a noble, and it's got, looks like tier 2 recruitment at least. Let's see, sabotage there. We don't know what any of these are, but typically, let's just go for it. Typically, the higher up the buildings are, the more likely they are to be something that's kind of fundamental to the faction, like a Dominion building. So let's try it. No idea. All right, fails. But, you know, the thing is, this is... Okay, that was the Homeland Dominion. Good. The odds on that were probably pretty decent, actually, so we'll just try again. And yes, he's gotten a bad trait, Inept Poisoner, which, you know, obviously doesn't make sense in this case because he was sabotaging a building. But I guess we could think of it differently. Like, more broadly, we could think of sabotage as involving... interruptions to services, right? Because buildings in this mod don't represent just timber, you know, brick and mortar buildings all the time. Like Homeland Dominion is not like a building you can go see on the corner of the street. It's like an entire structure. So I guess Poisoner could make sense. You can imagine he's poisoning the officials that ensure the Dominion is kept. Okay, great. So here's a Dunabar asking for trade rights. I was going to do that anyway. Let's see if we can get a little bit of money out of it. We will demand a single payment. And let's ask for something nice and easy like 1,000. All right, great. Let's see about an alliance, actually. And ask for another payment there. I don't know if we have any chance of that. Okay, they'll actually give us 540. We'll do it. All right, we've got an ally. So there is some purpose to allies in this mod. Let's find our faction leader. Let's go to the ruling family. That's the heir. Here's the faction leader. So faction leaders have authority, just like in medieval Total War, they had influence, right? So this is the stat that affects opinion of liege. So having this authority stat at 6 is pretty good. It could be better. And so we could try to work that up by conquering. That's going to be especially important for a faction like North Rhun. The barbarian factions tend to get more influence or authority for their faction leaders by conquering more territory. You also get the authority increase by having taxes low everywhere, which is one reason I do that. You get authority increases by having, money in your treasury, and by making money, and by not spending all of your money on just army upkeep costs. So, we may be doing okay in the financial department, but you also get some authority boost from having alliances. And for the Easterlings, for the barbarian type factions, that's less important than it is for like the Elves or the Reunited Kingdom, right? The more, quote, civilized nations are going to get more of a boost to their faction leaders' authority through diplomacy. But still, having fewer wars and more alliances is going to show that your authority is higher, and that in turn makes your nobles more favorable to your rule. That affects the opinion of liege trait that we've seen before. So I'm not going to go through and look up all of that stuff right now, but we are working on the authority of our faction leader, which is nice. Okay, let's get our other rogue out of here, because we've got 2 of them. And he's actually got a talented accomplice as well. So let's try that again. We'll try for the sabotage here. Homeland Dominion, did that work? Nope. Let's try it with you.
Assassin ready. He won't hear a thing.
And that also did not work. All right, we're trying, but we're not doing too much good there. Typically, it's not too bad, not too difficult to try to destroy those types of buildings. We'll keep at it. So it looks like, again, we've got a bit of a reprieve here. We've got people moving in from the north, and still they've stalled out to the east of Berez Doom, which is good. We're still training. In Erebor, though, we are finished, so I may as well take these 4 units here. One thing we're waiting on, though, is a general to lead them, right? I typically don't like to send my armies out with just a captain, but in this case, I may have to. Let's see if the family tree has anybody coming of age soon. Absolutely not. Well, that's a shame. Well, this is also, it's important to remember that what you see in this mod for the ruling family is not the entire ruling family. We've got family members, generals, who don't appear here because they're from a different family tree, right? This mod has not just one ruling family that all traces back to a common ancestor, but it has family members from different subcultures, right, who are completely unrelated to one another. So they have different family trees that are just, not, you can't display everything, unfortunately. So I think what we'll do is maybe wait a couple of turns. We're still making a little money. So we've got some more training of the warband guys. Let's start moving people to the east, because I think we've got enough here. Let's see, if I take all of you, that's a half stack. That's pretty respectable. And I want to leave some of these guys behind just for defense. Okay, so let's take them over, and we'll combine them with some of these guys. Let's grab, like, this whole line. We've got a couple. That leaves 4 slots open. Maybe we'll grab some of the Hillman Axe levies when we get closer. And so we'll just march off into the east, right? That'll be the goal. I think this army, even though it's captain-led, could take out a fair amount of stuff. If we're careful with it and we get some other troops. It's a little lighter than some of the armies we've taken east in the past, but I think it's what we're going to have to do. We won't be able to get mercenaries unless we have a family member, so that is a problem, but I think we can still find a way to deal with it. So in the next episode, we're going to, obviously continue building here, continue building up our forces, getting the ability to have like a field army to defend, and then getting a third army in the east to go right after Thordram, and that is going to really disturb Rhun's abilities, I think. That'll give us some reprieve. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll stick around until the next one. I'll see you then.